by holding on to the bottom structure, it is better to move the piece on a dolly. This is safer for both the movers and the object. The moving project becomes increasingly difficult with objects that are large and complex. Objects that come apart into many pieces or are unwieldy require not only extra care, but also careful preparation. Once you have determined the safest way to pick the furniture up, the next step is moving it safely from where it is to where you want it to go. First, survey the surroundings and determine what you need to move out of the way to have a clear path for the object you are moving. It is vital that there be a clear path not only for the object, but for the mover's feet or the dolly's wheels. Safe handling and moving furniture is a matter of knowing how it goes together and careful planning and preparation for moving. Remember, handle pieces properly. Remove obstacles to safe transport, such as rugs. Employ teamwork between the movers to ensure ease and safety. The guidelines for furniture maintenance are pretty simple. If the furniture is used and handled carefully, it will need very little in the way of routine maintenance. A lot of what furniture conservators do is to respond to problems created by well-intentioned but destructive maintenance or repairs. For the most part, maintaining furniture simply means keeping it clean, carefully. Devices which remove dust can also inflict considerable damage to the object. As in the case of this feather duster, not only pulling the trim out of its groove, but leaving behind a telltale scrap. Sometimes maintaining furniture well simply means being careful while performing housekeeping around the furniture. While this string mop is not necessarily a large problem by itself, it does leave evidence of very careless and perhaps destructive housekeeping habits. The most common maintenance that is appropriate is to keep pieces clean. On wood or coatings, the first and most important step is to evaluate the surface and make sure that the surface or coating is stable and not apt to be damaged by the contact of the cleaning tools. Then, determine what the dirt is and what the surface is. Or if you can't determine that exactly, find out what removes the dirt without affecting the surface underneath it. Often, dust can be removed with the careful wipe of a damp cloth. Oily dirt or waxy residue can be removed with a mild, neutral detergent and water solution, or with mineral spirits. However, it is vital to make sure that the cleaning solution does not affect the underlying surface. If you can define a cleaning method which does this, proceed cautiously. Further protection and aesthetic enhancement can be obtained through the application of a stable, hard furniture polish, such as a paste wax. The hard wax surface can be dusted more easily because it will be more smooth, and the dust will not be embedded in it, as it would be in the unwaxed surface. Waxing need only occur infrequently because the wax itself is not readily removed, and it does not degrade chemically. Waxing too frequently can result in a clouded, built-up surface. While this seems a simple approach, consider the difficulty of employing popular methods of furniture polishing. Oil-based polishes continue to be a vexing problem for furniture conservators, as they polymerize and build up over time and with numerous applications, trapping and adhering airborne dirt into the surface. Traditional polish mixtures of linseed oil, turpentine, beeswax, and vinegar are especially problematic as they polymerize and darken with age. Consider the surface of this clock. The owners, thinking they were helping it out, varnished the surface numerous times to spruce it up. The result is that their benevolence has nearly destroyed this magnificent decoration, for as the varnish aged and deteriorated, it darkened, obscuring the decoration, and crawled or shrunk. In doing so, it pulled the polychrome decoration off the surface. The restoration from this benevolent damage will take hundreds of hours at a cost of tens of thousands of dollars. Dusting upholstery can be accomplished by a vacuum cleaner, using the brush attachment over a screen placed on the surface. Stains and other damage to upholstery should be referred to an upholstery or textile conservator for further treatment. One final consideration of maintenance is reupholstering. Upholstering, by definition, causes some damage to the frame by the tacks and nails driven into it. If repeated, the damage is eventually destructive to the object. A new field in furniture conservation, minimally intrusive upholstery, is dedicated to developing alternative upholstery methods which eliminate or diminish the damage caused by using hundreds or thousands of nails, staples, and tacks in the upholstery process. One never-ending concern of furniture caretakers is for the hardware, which becomes dirty and tarnished with use and exposure to the atmosphere. However, sometimes even this seemingly straightforward process is a poorly informed one. This mount, which has some green copper corrosion, was needlessly damaged by some caretaker who didn't realize that this was not brass, but rather gilded bronze. So, polishing it removed the gold, in essence destroying the surface of a beautiful sculptural element. If possible, hardware should be carefully removed from the object, and using proper safety precautions, cleaned in a bath of a 50-50 mix of acetone and alcohol to remove any dirt and oil residue, scrubbing the piece with a soft bristle brush, like a toothbrush. Then, thoroughly dry the hardware with lint-free cloth. After drying, use a very fine abrasive in an alcohol or mineral spirits slurry on a wedge of jeweler's buffing block or a fine lint-free cloth to polish the hardware. Soft cloth is especially good to get into the details of a convoluted surface. When the polishing is completed, wash the hardware thoroughly in a 50-50 mixture of acetone and alcohol to remove all the polishing abrasive, and then dry with lint-free cloth. Using a commercial polishing agent might contribute to the deterioration of the hardware, as they frequently contain harsh cleaners that corrode the metal. The underside of the hardware is especially vulnerable because harsh commercial polish doesn't get cleaned off. To prolong the polishing effect, the surface can be coated with a transparent resin that is sprayed on the hardware. The hardware then can be carefully replaced on the object. If the hardware cannot be safely removed from the furniture and still needs to be cleaned, polished, and coated, it can be done on the object provided the following precautions are scrupulously followed. First, the surface of the object must be protected by a sheet of plastic film, which is slid under the hardware from both sides to form an overlapping barrier that will protect the surface from the cleaning solutions during the polishing process. Without this precaution, attempts to polish the hardware will eventually end in disaster. Since the piece cannot be washed in the acetone alcohol mixture, the cleaning must be done by dipping swabs in the solution and then scrubbing the metal surface with the swab. Polishing must also be done more carefully, perhaps on a smaller scale. Particular care must be used in applying any coating to make sure that no protective varnish for the hardware gets on the object itself. As you can see, furniture maintenance is neither difficult nor complicated. Just remember, be gentle in your housekeeping, be careful when you clean surfaces, be restrained in polishing furniture surfaces and use benign materials, and be cautious in polishing and handling hardware. Make sure to avoid using harsh, damaging commercial polishes. The furniture of our ancestors has reached us through a combination of limited use, accident, benign neglect, and simple good fortune. However, by applying the principles of careful use and proper maintenance illustrated in this video, we can improve the chances of our important artifacts reaching our descendants intact.